Let's do the fireplace replacements and the TV replacements. So the easiest one of the two is going to be the TV replacement. So we'll start with this image. And we got to take this, again, like always, into Photoshop. So when you're doing a TV replacement, the image that you're going to replace and put on the TV really depends on where the property is. This property is in South Boston. So I'm going to put a picture of Boston Commons onto this TV because it fits. It makes sense. You know, you're trying to sell the city of Boston, so why not put a really nice image of Boston on the TV? Obviously, we don't have a really nice image of every town and city we go into. So for me, for example, anything in like the Boston area, I'll use this image because I really like it. If it's a nice home in the suburbs or something near a beach, or if there's a nice outdoors image, a lot of times I'll just use that. Like even the front of the house I'll use sometimes. Like if it's a nice suburban house, just picture of the front of the house on the TV works a lot of times. If it's on a lake or a beach, use a picture of that beach. The more we can do to help sell that location, the better. And worst comes to worst, you can just find a really nice picture on Google of a forest or a beach or something like that to put on the TV. But I would recommend trying to find something, an image that's related to the location, if that makes sense. So I got this image, and the first thing we're going to do, obviously size it down so it's close to the TV so it's easier to work with. I'm going to come up to Edit, Transform, Distort. I'm going to zoom in a little more, and I'm just going to take this corner, match the corners up. And I like to leave a little space, even a little bit of a black space between the border, just so it looks more realistic. Because if you make the TV go, like if I made the corners go all the way to the edge, it might look a little fake. So just that even buffer, and make sure it's an even line all the way down and across. Like see how it's wider over here than it is over here. So we're going to adjust that a little bit. And that looks good to me. So kind of zoom out. It already looks pretty good, but I'm going to take the opacity down to around 75 or 80% just to make it look a little more realistic. And as you can see, there's some reflections that are on the TV that kind of start to come through. Just makes it look a lot realer. And hit enter, and that's it. You can just save that image and it will go into Lightroom. So go back to Lightroom real quick, and we can see we have both of these images. And now let's do a fireplace replacement. We're going to put a fake fire into that fireplace. So we got an easier one right here, and then we got a little more difficult one right here. So for the easy one, I'm going to press Shift and click both of these images. And I'm going to bring both of these into Photoshop. Up here, I got one here, and then the other one right here. And then I'm going to go into my editing files, grab the fire PNG, and I'm going to size that down so that's about right. That looks pretty realistic to me, and because it's a straight on image, we don't really have to distort it all too much. And actually, there's nothing in the way. These bars right here aren't getting in the way of the fire at all. So I can just come over to the opacity and bring this down to about 60 or 70%. And that looks pretty good to me. I might just gonna transform this, make it a little smaller, a little more realistic. There we go. We can just hit save on that. And then we can go over to the other image. And so this one's going to be a little more difficult. So we're going to bring the fire over, size it roughly down to what we're going to want. And then as you can see, this chair is in the way. We got this bar on the fireplace, whatever that's called, in the way. And the shape is incorrect. So the first thing we're going to do, edit, transform, distort. I'm going to try to line this up. So we have these parallel lines going up and then parallel lines here. So make sure this line is running parallel with this line. This line is running parallel with the brick line down here. So kind of do that. Bring that up a little bit. And then maybe I'm just going to go back to transform so I can move the entire. I just clicked Command or Control T. So I'm just going to size this down real quick. Hit transform. Make it a little smaller so I'm not distorting it anymore. And that looks pretty good to me. So once we've done that, we're going to add a mask, and we're going to make sure we have the black color selected, and we're just going to mask this fire out. And it is kind of difficult to see, so you can bring the opacity to like 50 just so you can see what you're doing, be a lot more accurate with your masking. All right, and then we have this line here, so we want to make that look realistic. I'm going to put opacity of my brush to 40%, 40, 50%. Just kind of finish that line down a little bit. So Now I'm going to raise the opacity of this back up a little bit to 60. And that looks pretty good to me. So we'll save that. Then we'll come over to Lightroom. And now we're back in Lightroom, and you can see we have all of the images here. We got the with the TV replacement, without, with the fireplace replacement, without, and then with the fireplace replacement and without. So in the final batch of images, I'm going to include all of these because not every agent likes fireplace replacements and TV edits. Some do, I'd say most definitely do, but some don't. Everyone has their different opinions in real estate. So I include the images without the edits as well, just in case the client doesn't want to use the edits. So just so they don't have to ask me for them and I have to find them and it's a whole process. I have to re-edit anything. So what I'll do is I'll show you right now. All right, as you can see in this Show.Tours project, when I preview it, I have all the images, right? The normal photographs for web and print with the fireplace replacements and the TV edits. But then down here, I include all of the images without the TV edits and without the fireplace replacements. Just making it easy for the client. It's super easy to do this. All you do is when you export. So usually when I get to this point, all of these images would be flagged and rated. So because they're flagged and rated, they're flagged because I selected them from all the images, all the raw images to be edited. And then I rated them because I was selecting them to be edited in Photoshop. So I select all of them, throw them into Photoshop all at once. So for the ones that are edited, I would remove this 5-star rating, hit 0, and then 0, and 0. And now I can change the filter to rated, and I can just export all of these images. And then after I export them, I can delete them and then export the main mass of final images. So I'd have 2 folders, one with Photoshop edits, one without Photoshop edits, and then I can make those 2 folders in the Show.Tours file, just to make it easier for the clients. Probably unnecessary. You could probably export them all all in one folder, but it's just kind of those little things that will make your clients happy with you and keep your retention of clients higher. All right, so that's it for fireplace edits and TV replacements. So I'll see you in the next video.